Yo guys, what's going on? Tom for 2 here, or Chessman I Lost Ark. Today I just wanted to give an updated Paladin guide and build video. I know it's a long overdue video. Always said I wanted to do and make my Paladin guide, but here it is. So let's dive right in. Remember, if you guys like this content, be sure to subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Give me some feedback, and yeah, let's dive right in. So 1706 Paladin. I'm going to be using the Ulu site just to kind of give a layout and overview of it. I think it does a pretty good job just laying out everything. It's mostly up to date, and it does a pretty good job visualizing the accessory lines and stuff, which is why I like it. Um, but yeah, as I said, eye level 1706, almost 1707, roster 344, level 70. In terms of my gear, you could probably see the quality. Haven't really quality tapped my main in a while, but yeah, pretty much looking at purples and 100% quality for at least the chest and the gloves, and still working on shoulder, I guess, 86 quality. In terms of the elixirs, I did manage to min-max them. So either you want weapon power or strength min-maxed. And then, of course, you want the main kind of armor component effect to go along with it. So as you can see on my head, I've got weapon power and luminary order. 5-5, strength and shield enhancement, 5-5 on the shoulder, chest, strength, and max HP. Pants, weapon power, and ally enhancement, 5-5, and then gloves, 5-5 on strength and luminary chaos. So you either want strength or weapon power. I was told it's pretty interchangeable. It's very minuscule like difference between weapon power and strength, but yeah, don't have to touch elixirs anymore. Thank God on my main. If we just pivot over to my accessories, now as I said, this site does a pretty good job, at least visualizing the lines and the between high, medium, and low lines. So let's start with the necklace. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the the meter gain line at all, but yeah, for the neck, I think brand power is the number one thing you want, plus 8%. And then a good secondary line was probably the max MP, plus 15. So I think that's pretty good. Between my two earrings for supports, I don't think it matters like a whole lot. The only thing that's really important is probably weapon power, and I have both of them plus 3%, just because you're mostly interested in souping up your DPS instead of like I guess shielding and recovering. So I do have low lines for both shield for party members and recovery for party members. Part of min max is a little bit more, probably looking for medium lines at least if it's going to be at least financially within the ballpark of what I'm looking for, but it's a little bit expensive at the moment in the market. So yeah, earrings, if you're just looking to soup up, just look for weapon power. For the rings, this is when it gets a little bit more interesting. For the first one, I have ally damage enhancement effect plus 7.5%. And then for the second one, I have ally attack power enhancement effect. So both high lines on the different types of buffs, I guess. And then on the second ring, I have ally damage enhancement effect plus 2%. So it does stack. And yeah, I think those are, at least for the rings, the important legendary lines to have. It's always good to get weapon power if you can, but again, those are going for like a couple million gold, million or 2 million gold, and that's just something I don't really have. So that's the best I'm gonna get, I think, for accessories for the time being. I don't plan on changing it anytime soon unless I get a roll that's like super good. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the accessories. Stone, I'm still rocking an Expert in Awakening, 7/7 stone, I believe, for level 2s. Don't plan on re-rolling it unless I get some drops of Ether Awakening stones to roll. We go on to my bracelet. Roll a pretty good bracelet, got spec plus 72, swiftness 118, ally attack power enhancement plus 4%, vitality and strength. I did get a bracelet that had the legendary roll for ally attack power enhancement. But I didn't get a swiftness stat, so had to kind of chalk it. I don't think it had a spec one, but not a swiftness one, so might have to chalk that one. And this is the bracelet I'm going to be rolling with, I guess, since it's kind of hard to roll these specific lines that I want. In terms of gems, full level 8s. The only two 7s I've got are for Holy Sword and Executioner's Sword as well. So the two blue skills, probably working on getting level 8s for that at least, and then upgrading some of these damage ones to 9s, just so that my DPS are doing a little bit more damage now. So that's where I'm at with gems. Cards, probably using Lost Windcliff. For all the other raids, I've got pretty much plus 24 Peace Awakening. I think the Mortem set, I've got 30 set fully. So yeah, cards are pretty good for my support. If you just look at the, I know the ooze like provides like a little combat score. Don't read too much into it. I think it's just mostly like a good ballpark to see how you're doing in terms of power, weapon power, or attack buff power contribution versus like shield and power contributions, and then you can kind of see like the breakdown of what's contributing to it. But in terms of engravings, right? I've got one book in the Drops of Ether. I've got one book in Awakening. I've got the full 20 for Max MP Increase. I got the full 20 for Magic Stream. I've got 6 for Expert right now, and then I've got full 20 for Vital Point Hit. Vital Point Hit, Max MP Increase. I kind of toggle or drops of Ether. It kind of depends on the raid, right? If our team is looking like they're not doing a whole lot of stagger, then I just switch to Vital Point Hit. It just makes things a whole lot easier. So there's that. Look at my Ark Passive. I won't talk too much about the Ark Passive, but you guys can look at the breakdown there. I pretty much got 120 points in Evolution, 101 points in Enlightenment, and then 70 points into Leap. If you guys are interested in the skills I use Sword of Justice, Holy Area, Holy Protection, God's Decree, Executioner's Sword, Wrath of God, Holy Sword, and Heavenly Blessing. You guys can see the tripods that are associated with them. So just pause it and screenshot it. You can see the runes I use. And the gems that I use are associated with it. So I've got pretty much CD gems for everything, and then I got damage gems for Heavenly Blessing and Wrath of God, and of course a damage gem for, I believe the Holy, was it? Blessed Aura. I will say that Holy Area, I do change this out with Light of Judgment, just depending on the raid. I think Holy Area just provides an extra DR skill to use in your kit, especially useful for progging when we were doing like Mortem and some new raids. So that's my loadout in the OO site. We could probably transition to the game and take a look there. So let's look in game. Yeah, I don't know how much else there is to really say about it in game per se. Pretty much the same stuff I already went over. You know, my Ark Passive, level 26 for Evolution, level 27 for Enlightenment, level 25 for Leap. I don't know if I want to min-max this quite yet because it's cost quite a bit of gold. But I'll look to do it maybe on my main at least. If you want to look at my skins and stuff, I'm using the, what is it, Priest of Death set, I guess. Just dyed it white. Maybe I'll play around with the style book a little bit and give you guys the links for that. Using the Aegir Trail effect, so yada yada yada. Again, one of my engravings. This is where I'm at with my engravings. As you can see, I didn't invest anything into like my DPS ones. I think I used the free relic books into the Adrenaline just because it's the most expensive book and it's probably useful for all my DPS who are actually still using it. But as you can see, I've got Vital Point, Max MP, Explosive Expert, and Magic Stream all filled out for at least support. Yeah, gems we already went over. Yeah, and cards, you could say for Brel, you've got the Raging Thunderbolt Protection Set, 24 piece already complete. Just working on the legendary cards left. And then for Mortem Gate 3, I've got Grandmaster Trials, full 30 set. So yeah. In terms of the skills, we don't have to go over the skills at all, since we kind of displayed that in the UU site, but yeah, playstyle wise, I'm not really going to talk a whole lot about that since I don't want to keep this video too long. But essentially, you just make sure you never overlap Heavenly Blessing and Wrath of God together. Sword of Justice is your brand skill, so you want to put that on the boss as much as possible. I use Conviction Judgment with Sword of Judgment and God's Decree, so just make sure you proc that to save some natural resources. And then if you stack Brand plus one of these attack buffs, Heavenly Blessing or Wrath of God, plus T skill, plus Blessed Aura, that's like 4 buffs you're stacking. So playstyle wise, and I'll probably maybe do an in-depth video with like a raid or something, but you're getting 4 buffs with the Brand skill, the T skill, the attack power buff, and the Blessed Aura, right? Typically you'd probably only be having Brand plus attack power plus T skill, right? Or you're having 2 Brand plus attack buff. And then use Holy Protection for shielding, blue skills, mostly saving if the boss has a stagger meter. If I use max MP increase, you know, you can just throw these skills out as you want because you have the mana to do so. Otherwise, you're mostly saving it for like stagger or counters. And then these two are my DR skills as well. So you just put those on allies when they're in trouble. So yeah, it's pretty much how it is. Good paladins. They probably pop Blastora a ton during the raid. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I don't want to keep it too long and bore you guys to death, but there's my build, updated build. Let me know what you guys think, and yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.